All right, thank you everyone for waiting. Like I said, I'm sorry that normally I would set it to something like 10:05 or 10:10, but it doesn't let me do that anymore. So I either have to make it later and be unable to start early, or just be a little late sometimes. So anyway, sorry. Like I said, today we're going to be today and tomorrow. So I fortunately have a couple days off due to the long weekend here. And today and tomorrow, I'm going to be covering a 2006 visit to SMS lines. I think this was the first. I forget. No, this is not the first time. You guys have been with me to SMS before. This was the second, third, something like that. At a certain point, the engineer that we knew on these things passed away. And unfortunately, that sort of ended my little burgeoning SMS Thanksgiving tradition. But I was able to go and do other things. So we should have a pretty straightforward thing for you tonight. I'm going to be doing 3 rounds. Should be pretty quick. And today and tomorrow. So we can sort of begin. We can sort of begin with this fuzzy boxcar photo labeled QGRY 8668. When we got on, they were switching a customer with newsprint from Canada. I already took the liberty of pulling this up. It's the Quebec Gatineau Railway. Of course, it's owned by G&W. They own everything, and they do. It's 155 miles short or 280 mile long short line in Canada that, as you probably can assume, probably does a lot of paper products. That's why it's interesting not seeing a randomly colored boxcar in I think probably a BN, not seeing it with an X reporting mark. The interesting thing about these is that apparently there's an FRA regulation that limits the age of freight cars. I think it's 40 years, and you can apply to get that extended by another 10. And this was or maybe 5, or you can do it twice or something. Either way, this one was pushing 50 years in paper product service. And it was mentioned to me by the crew that they were, they weren't sure that if having to buy new cars would imperil the ability for this line to keep shipping stuff. Anyway, let me just sort of get back. Sorry if I'm a little slow trying to get up to speed here today. Anyway, I hope you all had a happy New Year. I guess I didn't know when I was exactly the ability to do this for 2 days was sort of a last minute thing. Hopefully I'm not starting to have more of those same computer problems, but things seem to be running pretty well enough. It's always a little bit slow to start in the first save, but we'll see how it goes. It doesn't seem to be that bad. There it goes. Yeah, good enough. And you can see, so we're in an end cab switcher. I'll get the, I'll have the number for you soon enough. But these are just the first couple of photos I took after we sort of showed up and we got right into the cab, which is the nicest way to do things. This was of course this is a Baldwin switcher. I think probably built sometime either 1949 or 1953. Here we have the rear wall of the Baldwin switcher. I don't know why there's that weird green light there. Probably for night sight reasons. Let me see if I actually... I do have the original names for all this. There it is. So this is SMS 301, which I'm pretty sure is an S-12. This switcher I believe is the one that was named for the engineer. I should really go and figure out that name for you. Just it's the if I'm gonna invoke him, I should at least get his name. I know that I've gotten it before. Here goes. SMS rail lines roster. Oh, what the hell? That's trash. God, I hate so much crap in Google searches these days. All right, hold on. This is probably one of my whatchamacallit things. Okay, there it is. So that's my friend Kevin Painter. I was hanging out with him today. So the name of the engineer is Ed Weller, and although he was running the older Baldwin, the DRS whatever 4-4 whatever, he finished out his last few years in this S-12 number 301. So I forget when he passed away, but it wasn't that too much longer after this, unfortunately. So here we have the one of the other QGRY railway paper product cars getting transloaded at whatever maybe it's lumber. Maybe it wasn't newsprint. Yeah, it was probably lumber, not newsprint. Might be the same one. I'm not sure. I forget if we delivered it and then they went and did it. Let me see what I originally called this one. Oh, the door was stuck, and they had to use the forklift to open it. Oh, see the things you forget? Let's assume that it's the same one. This is all in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, which still has the SMS lines contract for their switching all their switching needs. In fact, I can just let you know where it is right now. If you look at that little crook end of New Jersey, it's right where that is. So there's Trenton. There's where the NEC bridge is crossing the river, the Delaware River, and the Penn Warner Industrial Park is right there. Right south the old Morrisville yard, where you can see where it had a classification yard that's been largely taken over by NJT to store its corridor line trains. And if you look here on the Wikimapia map, you can see this is the that bunch of rail. That's what's being served by SMS lines. Sometimes the customers change in various ways. They add some, they lose some. Just all in the life of Industrial Park. There's the office. It looks like the train in this picture is out. And I've mentioned this before in my other things. So, yeah, I think that's the switcher there. Could be wrong. Could just be a boxcar. Or there's one. But this is what we are working with this time around. Here we have 301. Probably not the same one, but good enough to... Whoops. Don't want to sharpen it too much. These only have limited resolution. You can see that green glow for the indicator panel in front of the engineer. One second. All right. Yeah, that's good enough. And here we have the I don't know if this was open by this point or fully operational, but this is just the NJT Morrisville yard. So we went all the way out to the I think it was open, but they were still expanding it or something. So we got on there, and then we went all the way out to the interchange, which is, yeah, this track. That's where they that's where NS will put interchange traffic, and we get on there and couple up. That was the switch where they. I mean, that's where they, fouling this switch would be where they, is what they should not do. Wow, it's hard to believe that Morrisville before I want to yeah, before this Morrisville yard, it was something to watch how they had to shuffle all the trains into various locations at Trenton. And we have additional Morrisville yard, so this really eased operations. It was a combination of just the major hurdle was just NJT's reluctance, or not really NJT's reluctance, but anytime it was brought up. New Jersey Transit, New Jersey politicians were loath to fund improvements in Pennsylvania. That's also why there's not a station there. It'd be interesting because I would expect that if Pennsylvania probably just even offered to pay to build the station, NJT would probably put one in. Although I don't know. Right now they'd have to run in things more on a schedule out of there. So right now a train can come out of the yard at a time, wait to go, and have, there's probably a little bit of slack here or there waiting at Morrisville to get onto the NEC. Making that a little bit more of a connection you have to do would be, might upend the service. They could also just make this, there's nothing would stop them from saying, all right, you can get on the train at this point, but it's going to take you 15 something minutes to get to Trenton. Or they don't even have to have every one go there. Maybe some peak direction stuff. Who knows? But I mean, having a station here at the yard at Morrisville would probably be a kind of no-brainer. There's currently not much transit service. You could put a large park and ride facility sort of right there that would relieve people having to cross the bridge. Have ramps come right off of one in there. I've never heard that one come up. Here they are. This is just them finishing. They opened the yard, but it wasn't fully expanded or fully in service when by this point. So they're just putting in the second half of the tracks. There was such an important operational benefit that they definitely wanted to get going. Oh, here's a hotbox Dragon equipment detector, or a high car detector or something here. Gonna have to get my Conrail timetable out on this one. Oh, that's annoying. But I fortunately have it up. It's always a little hard to find it. There they are, Morrisville line. Oops. Morrisville Dragon equipment detector. Doesn't give me a good milepost. Great. 1 second. There it is. Does it give me one, a milepost for that? Radio bases, running tracks, cab signals. Nah, that's not going to tell me. So something around milepost 4.7. I likely did not mention that when I did this before. Alrighty. Conrail liked into using individual dragging equipment detectors. I think UP has a lot of them too, depending on where it is. This is my. I kept trying to submit this to railpictures.net, hanging over the train's only going a few miles an hour, but you can hang over the rear porch and get on my sort of a blurry photo, but with the coupler in focus. So they're connected and the cars are on air. Yeah, this was a nice this was a nice bunch of people to know, but unfortunately, I thought I did this one already. How much is this different than the first one? Oh, it's just a slightly different angle. Boo. Whatever. And when we were there waiting, an NS through freight, to the extent that through freights sort of exist, actually did come by. So we got to watch that go through. First engine was a former Conrail GP38-2. You know it's Conrail because it still had the marker lights, the red marker lights that Conrail would have for just running at the end of the car, end of the train. This is number 5280. It's already, a lot of the Conrail stuff had already been repainted. Also looks like the plow's been notched for operation in third rail territory. That's sort of weird. Or maybe not, but it looks like it is. It makes me wonder if I should try to do a square cut. Oh yeah, that's way better. I can dump all that junk at the top. Oh, also it's got an OG cab signal box right there. In that, there's the number of relays. It's surprisingly simple of what you need for the original coded track circuits. There's just like 4 relays and a couple of transformers. That's how you filter out the code stuff. They use little coil transformers. Alrighty, that's it for the first set. I'll see if we have any questions. Okay, it's 50 years. Yeah, no, there was something at the time the guy explained to me. I thought it was 40, and then or maybe it was like 40, and then they got an extension up to 50. It could have been changed since then. I thought there were some changes. I don't think those were over 50, but they maybe could have been. But they were on some kind of waiver, and I thought it was an FRA waiver. The trip worked out pretty well. Due to the lower headways, we had about about an hour less transit time than we normally do. Unfortunately, not too much I could have done. I mean, I could have done other things, but with the content, the core content that I wanted. Well, there you go. That wasn't the only train we saw there either. Not sure where that first. Or these might have been shoving back and forth. So. Yeah, he was just light. And might have been dropping something off for us. I'm not sure. Oh, man. I have a lot of photos here. I bet some of these aren't... I bet I deleted a whole bunch of these. We'll see. Yeah. I shortened this stuff up. So maybe I want to do the same. We'll see. All right. Oops. Check that out. Alrighty. Let's see if I can, what can I see in there. Just a digital speedo. Yeah. Sorry, I seem to have taken like 8 photos of the same engines here. So this is all just the GP38 that rolled down for whatever reason. I forget if they were leaving stuff for us or we were picking up stuff that we left for them. I can't quite tell. But we'll see here in a second. I'm sure that if I go back to my original sub-chat report, yeah, I didn't even do a bunch of these photos. Just here we have same guy with the AEI readers there. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Yeah, I'm recovering a bunch of photos. At the time, I just junked everything that wasn't working. Anything that, just I got enough photos of 5028. And that is the Morrisville line right there. That goes all the way up to the NEC connection. If you see on our special map, like I said, there's the connection. There's the tail track that they will put stuff on, and there's the official Morrisville line that rolls. There's the Fairless branch that'll go down to the old Fairless Hills. What's left of the giant steel complex that's no longer there. It's a shame how many Northeast cities have these giant steel mills that don't exist anymore. But they still have a bunch of, there's still a lot of rail service down there that used to serve the steel mill. And the tracks are even still there. So I think there's still a degree of steel production, of some sort of steel industry related stuff. But the Morrisville line itself, past that hand operated switch, comes around here right down to Morrisville, interlocking with Amtrak. And so its track goes directly to the signal, and then NJT are these two. So NJT comes up, and they have their whole little interlocking right there. There used to be a thing for CPMY, as you saw in the diagram, or CPMA. But That was, I think, generally replaced here. Oh, wait. No, yeah, I'm not sure where it is. I know where that is. Sorry, DED Morrisville is .7. My bad. Yeah, there was just the yard and what other junk tracks in there. So I just need to change that dragging equipment detector to .7. CPMA is now CP John. That had the dwarf signals with the C lamps for the clear next interlocking. Okay, sorry about that. Here we have our contractor equipment here in the NJT Morrisville yard. I don't know. I can't remember how long I was. You know, once you're in the cab, you can't really. You're kind of stuck there, especially since we'd sort of rolled up to Morrisville Yard. But it was nice. We just talked with the guy. Oh, that's why I deleted that first one. This one is a little bit better. I'll do the same thing right here. Next. Still going to improve. It's still going to improve the photo from my original edit substantially. Oops. Do I even need that? Nope. I'm going to keep a whole bunch of these original names just because I have so many photos to be able to identify where this is. That's pretty obvious too. Yep, they're those the whatchamacallit boxcars. I wonder if some of these were out of order because of me switching photo cards. Yep, that's the SMS interchange track, and it's still doing that today. Pretty sure that's 8688. And back to the defect detector. This probably likely had recently just lost its, I called it a hot box, but it's not. Those are axle counters there to give you the axle, to tell you where the defect is. Given how new it is, I bet it just lost its Conrail era recording. The Conrail defect detectors didn't use most of them didn't have the speak and spell. There was one specific employee somewhere who did most of the recordings, and he actually did most of the they kept them for the NS recordings. He just changed it from Conrail to NS instead of a location, a milepost. I still miss the fact that Conrails would read out with the milepost. And at some point, time passed, and then this guy rolled in. Again, I don't think this was a through train. I think that this guy was doing flat switching. You can see where the active, so where the old bowl for the classification yard was, That's now NJT stuff. The old hump tower was around in there. And then here's the new flat switching yard. And then you sort of run into the intermodal terminal. And NS originates a whole bunch of stuff here. It's sort of like, even though today it's effectively a railroad to nowhere, the Morrisville line, where it is a railroad to is where it needs to railroad be. You have, there's intermodal trains that originate in the Morrisville Yard complex. There is quite a bit of local freight. I mean, there's there's your transload, hazardous chemical transload facility, and then here is just the yard point itself, where it gets fed from Fairless Steel branch. The NEC locals, it's going to get a degree of freight out of there, and then Penn Warner Industrial Park plus. There's some sort of connection with, I don't know who the Fairless branch is, map. Yes, there's also a connection to the CSX Woodburn yard. So sometimes they'll pull stuff. They'll do interchange with CSX there, one way or another. So they do originate. There's a bunch of stuff that comes out of this location. Oh, also they can get to the industrial tract that goes to the A.E. Stately plant, which unfortunately lost its NW3 locomotive, which is I marked here. No, it's still there, I think, or one locomotive. The only operating NW3 was unfortunately scrapped in 2018. I don't know what A.E. Stately does. It's sort of like aggregates, or not by aggregates, I mean like grit for sandpaper and junk. So yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff that eventually flows its way into Morrisville Yard, and then goes to whatever is able to get to a degree of local industry. I think that I forget if what part of NEC freights is served by that. If they go out to Morris and then reverse down the NEC to get to this stuff in Bristol. I don't know, and the whole Croydon area, that might be served from this too. Anyway, I think this guy, I don't think this was a through freight. This guy was just flat switching the yard. Or it was an arrived through freight that was starting to block things out. Because there's really unlike the Baltimore area, the northern NEC does not see long through freights. Just little locals. This guy would have been pretty new at this point, too. Not that new, maybe about 5 or 6 years. The last of them were delivered in like 2004. This was 2006, so this probably would have been delivered sometime around 2002. And there's one that's most definitely newer, 97, 90, 49. Plus the interchange there. These are all C44-9Ws in case you weren't aware. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if we were moving or he was moving backwards. Looks pretty new. Yeah. I just I didn't do this one, so. Probably because it was a little soft. But it's still good enough today. Those are since they're all getting rebuilt. And here we have the cab. Oh, these are C4. Sorry, these are C40-9Ws. They hadn't been upgraded yet. Now, apparently, if you're ever wondering about that whole C40-9W versus C44-9W, from what I was told by a crew, an NS employee, or someone who really likes GEs, they even in their 44,000 horsepower configuration, they still had a button that would allow you, or something that would allow. It's like push for. They had a push for power that would up it to 4,400, and a lot of crews just would run with that on all the time. So after a bunch of years, NS stopped caring. And they just, did the inevitable and we're cool with it being 4,400 horsepower. This will be interesting. Now, did I care about this one? Yes. Well, at least I righted that one back in the day. That's good. All right, let's see what I can do here. There we go. Okay, that's good enough. Well, there we go. Alrighty. Just typical GE standard cab. I don't think I need to have high quality on that for that one. Yeah, I'm good. And let's see, that's it for that batch of photos. Sorry, this is a little dull. I got a whole bunch of NS Freight stuff in that. I guess maybe it was going somewhere. Oh, huh. Maybe that was for us. Well, we're going to see where this goes. We got some interesting developments here. Seeing how, as I've clearly forgotten about what the gist of things were. Yeah, it looks like those dudes they were actually just transferring us. They're using road power to transfer us stuff from the yard. And I'm probably not going to need that photo because that one is a little superfluous. So I think I actually did cut that one, and I'm right to do so. All right, I'm going to cut this. And then I'm going to see what people are saying in the chat. No, this is the what? This is the Morrisville operation, not the one in Paulsboro. The Penn Warner Industrial Park. I thought I said that at the beginning. Okay. See, I thought this was like a UP unit bind. Did I see a Union Pacific? 1 second. Oh, I thought that was a Union Pacific GE back there, but it's not. All right, so let's just see what did I call this? Okay, I see what I did. Yeah, by this well, rear plus yeah, by this point the freaking NS dash 40, dash 9 takeover was complete. So these two 4,400 horsepower units were there to deliver 3 cars to us. Yeah, I'm gonna change that name for sure. In this case, we have a UTLX unmarked tank car, 2582. Does anyone know how to check what those codes are? The chemical codes? Because that you can figure out what's in that. 110114. Oh, 11014. Looks like a high car detector. Yeah, sometimes you just need to blast it with some brightness. I should also make sure that I change this to include the high car detector. Did anybody get that chemical code? Oh man, you let me down. I'll look it up. 2582. Oh crap, it's ferric chloride solution. That's not good. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that was a corrosive placard too. Wow. Oh, ferric chloride. Let's see what this stuff is. When I don't have a good rail car. Oh no, I just want. What? Oh, ferric chloride. It's not a chlorine thing. It's so good. That's fine then, I guess. Common +3 oxidation state. How toxic is it, or does it not? Harmful, highly corrosive, and acidic. Powerful dehydrating agent. Poisoning is rare. Ingestion. Yeah. Don't. It's gonna corrode you. Don't eat it. All right, that's fine. This is just one of those things that'll melt the. If there's when there's a derailment, it'll just sort of melt the right away. Jeez, how many? NJT Morrisville Yard. Oh, hold on. When did that happen? There it goes. Yeah, I don't think we missed much. Just me figuring out what was in that tank car. More Morrisville line junk. Alright, so we did get out onto the Morrisville line here at the SMS line switch. I guess they had a key for it. That's the conductor who has just thrown the switch there for us, and we're going to go back onto the looks like 2 lumber cars and that and 2 tank cars. So we're going to go grab that and go to work with them. That's not a good name for that. So let's see what we can do with this. What the hell? Come on. Oh. Alrighty, we got the conductor opening the switch. Here we are backing on to UTLX number 11014 with the high car detector behind it. Question is, maybe I'll just go. I'm not going to square this one off. That is a good part. That tells part of the story there. Oops. Just trying to figure out. So I already used the line here. All right. There we go. Just do a name swap. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. That's good. Alright. Oh, somewhere near around here. Maybe this is at the end of the... We have one of the CSX pushing platforms used for NEC. This would imply that NEC industry was probably down to Bristol was being served by this. That would have also likely been a CASO operation. I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, I think it is. I thought they would be served out of that Frankfurt yard, but I mean, in 2004, their pushing platform was here up in the Morrisville. It's labeled New York Central because that's what CSX. It was sort of a reverse Penn Central merger. And that was the temporary reporting mark they used for their Conrail equipment. These were like, it's not a caboose, it's a pushing platform. These were a Conrail thing. I remember seeing the news articles, like the rail news articles, when these were made. They were considered to be quite an important innovation. Because otherwise, the crews, the rules basically had them have to hang on the end of that for quite an extended period of time. All right, here we have UTLX shoving it. Okay. Yeah. So, something that I wanted to bring up but didn't bring up the last time I talked about the SMS stuff, or maybe I did, I can't remember. Was that it's hard to understand. Now, these would have been fulls, but it's hard to believe or realize how much sloshing affects the train, especially when you have a lot. And I'm not sure if it was. I think I brought this up the last time, and this might not have been such of issue because these would have been full. But when they slosh, if you have a locomotive with 3 or more tank cars and they're partly full, that slosh will move the train feet. Not, it will roll it, and then sloshes back. So you sort of get into this merry-go-round thing going back and forth. So here we have the same thing, but this time I'm going to label it as being part of the in the Penn Warner Industrial Park. So that'll help me that'll let me differentiate between these two pictures. Oops. And don't know where we're going with this, but I guess we're putting, these guys, at this point they're doing their job. Wait, hold on. These numbers are changing. All right, that's UTLX 11014, and this looks like it's 61456. Oops. I don't know why I'm changing it there. I could probably find out. I think I know where this one is. I think that this location is was over in here. Yeah, there's that parking lot. So we will be coming across to put those cars down here somewhere. Oh, because we're delivering the lumber first. So we're setting that lumber out first, and then they were gonna go and move the tank cars wherever the tank cars go. The tank cars are usually over in here. Not sure if this is a generic transload or they actually take all that stuff, but yeah, those are all over there. Huh? Looks like they're getting some doing some loading right there too. I was today looking around various places up in the Reading and Northern country. That's just such a model operation. Meanwhile, not very far away, there's another road on the North Shore line coming out of Northumberland, Pennsylvania. It's got a contract operator. The county owns it, and there's just there's like a propane place next to the tracks that's not getting rail service because the county probably doesn't know or care about putting in a connection. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's such a shame that that's one of the things where Andy Muller owns everything, and he can go and build an industrial track if he needs it. And here we are. Not sure exactly where this is, but this might be over in here, or it's over there. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where this is, but it probably doesn't really matter. Oh, it's right. Okay, so now he's coming out. Right. Oh, sorry. That's in the same place. He's coming out now where the parking lot is. So they went and delivered their thing down there. I don't think I don't know. Maybe we just couldn't ride with them, or I just wasn't taking a bunch of pictures. But now they're back with the 2 tank cars. I remember at the time. Ed Weller was the guy, and I've said this before, that he was the one who retired and he wanted to get a railroad job. CSX made him, and you don't see Ed Weller. That's his conductor friend. He's driving the cab. Ed wanted to so he got a job with CSX, and as a new conductor, they worked him 39 consecutive 12-hour days. So he quit, and he went and got a job with SMS, working 14 hours a week. Just doing, whatever, he would just go do his industrial park job, and that's pretty much all they needed to do, or all they needed him to do. And it's a really nice, it's a really good, that sort of thing lets people stay attached to the workforce and do a job they have fun with, especially if they don't really need the money. Oh, that's a GATX. That's not a UTLX tank. It's one of the downsides of COVID that it's forced so many older workers out of the workforce because they don't want to get sick. All right. Well, that is what we have for today. Tomorrow we're going to definitely have a few more SMS bits and pieces. Shot by Abrams Yard, where I got a hat, and Stafford. So this is sort of where we went from just going to see SMS to doing more stuff with my friend Bob. And then I combined with weirdo Amtrak Thanksgiving things, like this cab car. That's back before when Amtrak actually knew how to run a Thanksgiving program. But yep, and, you're there for the you come for the HHPH and you stay for the arrows. But there we go. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Let me see if there's any questions. Oh, the Delmore Ave. No. I didn't think SMS did that. I thought that was just straight. Yeah, that was just straight CISO operation. That was the one I was looking at earlier. No, this is strictly limited to the Penn Warner Industrial Park. Yeah, that's their territory. The one you're talking about comes out of there and then runs underneath to serve the AE Stately, where the NW3 used to be. And it looks like AE Stately has done a lot of downsizing since I looked at it before. Also, all that stuff's down there. I don't know what that's doing down there. Maybe some weirdo transloading or what. Or see, AE Stately just seems to have a lot of I looked into what they made. It was kind of things like sandpaper grit. So yeah, I don't know what all those tank cars are doing unless they're needed by the. You see, this is one of those things that if railroads actually cared about drumming up business, they'd try to get this sewage treatment plant. Maybe they could get some chlorine deliveries there or something. Yeah, I don't know why they're stashing all those tank cars down there. Are there any other online customers for that? Oh, there is an online customer. There you go. You got more lumber here at this lumber distribute. Who is that? So there's at least there's two customers on that little route. Alrighty, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you tomorrow. See you then, 10 o'clock. Well, probably like 10:05. All right, see ya. Bye.